Welcome to another episode of Behind the Wall, an iOn Special Report. For those of you that don't know, the Uptown Music Collective will be presenting Pink Floyd's epic rock opera, The Wall, at the Community Arts Center on April 25th, 26th, and 27th. iOn Uptown will be there every step of the way, keeping you posted on happenings behind the wall.
Rehearsals are in full swing here at the Collective, with the first dress rehearsal quickly approaching. Aside from mastering the music of the show, some students also have to focus on acting out the scenes described in the album and portrayed in the film. Director Dylan Rockoff recently took the cast on a field trip to the Williamsport Area High School Auditorium to go over the blocking of the script. Petey was there to bring us some exclusive shots.
As you can probably guess, the excitement level here at the Collective is growing by the day as show week approaches. We recently sat down with a few cast members to get their thoughts about the process so far and some expectation of the show. Check it out.
Alright, so what are some of the technical and theatrical details that go into this show?
Well, there's going to be a big wall, 40 feet long and about 8 feet tall, with towers on the ends where people can play.
So we're going to have pyrotechnics, we're going to have a lot more acting because it is a stage show as well as it is like a movie. And we're going to have the orchestra come in for a lot of the songs. So
there's a lot that goes into this show. This is probably one of the biggest productions, actually it is the biggest production that the Collective's ever put on. They did The Wall, what was it, 6 or 7 years ago now, and that was their first show at the Community Arts Center, and even then it was a huge undertaking with all the things involved. So I'll just talk about a couple. First of all, we're building a physical wall. So the logistics of getting those boxes and putting them together was a huge task. Figuring out how we were going to be able to make the wall stable enough so that it would stay up throughout the show and yet be able to knock it down at the end when we tear down the wall. Planning all of the theatrical, pieces, what everyone's doing at every single time. Planning the sets for those theatrical pieces and how we're going to be able to do things on one side of the stage and then have the audience distracted while we move on another set from the other side of the stage. Writing the script, assigning parts, assigning songs, making sure everyone gets, all the, their proper due of what they need in terms of, getting song assignments. Oh, figuring out guitar effects, figuring out vocal effects and all that stuff, because the music isn't super complicated, but first of all, it's the theatrical aspect of it and the story, which I've already mentioned. That's a huge part of the show. It's the story of Pink. And then also the guitar effects, the sound, David Gilmour and Roger Waters' sound is pretty tough to emulate, so capturing that and trying to get that across has been a tough challenge.
What character, if any, do you play in the show, or what instrument do you play?
I play guitar and bass in the show.
I play the prosecutor.
I am Pink. I am the main character. He is struggling with a lot of things. He's a pretty messed up guy. His mother was super overprotective. The teacher that he had in school was, he berated him constantly. His wife cheats on him later in life. He loses his father before he is even born. And so Pink deals with a lot, which eventually the wall is kind of metaphorical for his isolation from the outside world because of all these terrible things that happened to him.
What's your favorite part of the show?
My favorite part of the show is waiting for the worms because it's like really like passionate and angry.
That's a tough one. Our first full rehearsal was last night, and there were a lot of highlights. I think that my favorite part of the show might be in the flesh. I won't say so yet. Why? Because I don't want to spoil any surprises for the audience. But in the flesh, Run Like Hell, and Waiting for the Worms are going to be, I think, 3 of the coolest songs in the show. It's gonna be like an audience like participation thing.
Alright, how many people do you expect to come?
I'm hoping we get 1,000 people each night,
And
but
has this helped you musically or performance-wise?
Definitely performance-wise, because since I'm a main character, I have to execute acting as well as singing, which I've never had to do before, so definitely has helped me.
yes, musically, like I said, it's not super complicated. There have been stuff that we've done in past shows that's musically more complicated than the music from the wall, but figuring out effects and understanding tone and how the effects works is a big part of the show, because in this album there's such a definitive tone that the wall, that David Gilmour and the bass player Roger Waters, they bring to the table that is tough to emulate, and that's one side of playing electric instruments that's a huge part of it, because you need to have your own sound, and emulating their sound has been a tough task. In terms of performance, everyone's going to learn how to act, and trying to figure out how to act and how to sound like Roger Waters, and do his part the right way, and to put myself in the mindset, because I'm not an evil guy, but Pink turns into an evil, tyrant, and putting myself in that mindset and trying to think like, someone who's evil and behave like someone who's evil, or someone who's lonely, or someone's out, isolated themselves, they got like a mental disorder or whatever. It's tough, but it's really cool, because as musicians we are performers, and we are always acting in a way. So if you kind of look at it that way, that's kind of one of the things that I've learned through performing this music.
In other news, this week one of the stars of the show has been stricken ill. Petey has come down with a bout of cabin fever from waiting for the show to arrive. For those that don't know what cabin fever is, we defer to the Muppets.
We got cabin fever, we lost what sense we had. We got cabin fever, and we're all going mad.
Student reaction has been intense, wondering if Petey will bounce back in time for the show. We wish him a speedy recovery.
Keep checking back every week for exclusive interviews and behind-the-scenes info. This has been Behind the Wall, an iOn Uptown special report.